In Creo Parametric, there is a third method for creating cutting tools for CNC manufacturing, and from what I understand, it is not that commonly used. And that third method is by sketching. This is only used for trajectory milling and trajectory turning. So to create a new cutting tool, I will go to the cutting tools command in the ribbon for manufacturing mode. And then in the tool setup dialog box, I will click on the new button to create a brand new tool. And for the name of it, I'm going to call it Taper 70. And the reason that you would use sketching is that you're trying to get a custom shape for specific kinds of operations. I will leave the material blank, and everything else in here is good. I'm going to go to the Edit drop-down menu and then choose the Sketch button. And now I can click on the Sketcher button to define the shape. By the way, you might have noticed that when the options here for the number of flutes went away, once I went to the Edit drop-down menu and changed to Sketch, it also changed the preview to this default shape in the geometry window. But anyhow, let me click on the Sketcher button. And this takes me into sketch mode, and it's sort of like a slightly degraded mode of sketching compared to what you are used to. And one of the requirements for the sketch is that you have to have a vertical center line for an axis of revolution. Let me go to the center line command. By the way, you will notice that the center line command in the data group is grayed out. We only have access to the center line command from the sketching group. But anyhow, I will click left to start it and then make it vertical and then click left again. And what you're doing in sketch mode is creating a profile for a revolved feature. And there are a few different rules, peculiarities that you have to follow. First off, everything that you sketch has to be on one side of the vertical center line, just like in Sketcher when you're trying to create a sketch for revolving. But for your tool, everything has to be on the right side of the sketch. So that's one of the things. And so I'm going to sketch a bunch of lines. I'll use the right mouse button to get to the Sketch Tools command. In this case, I'm going to create line, so I will choose line from here. And here is another peculiarity. This isn't required per se, but you're going to want to do it. You want to start sketching upward and in a counterclockwise fashion. Otherwise, when you're doing material removal simulation later on, this can be incorrect. So anyhow, let me start over down on the bottom. And I'm going to sketch out to the side. So again, I'm going to go in a counterclockwise fashion. Let me give it this shape over here and then up a bit. And then, let me make sure that it is vertical and then side. And then I need to close it off. So this is another requirement. Your sketch has to be closed. So let me click there and then middle mouse button a couple times. There you can see the preview that this is shaded in. Let me take a look at the different dimensions. This one I actually like. I'm going to keep this dimension. Let's change it to a value of 75. And let's see, for the other different dimensions, these are way out of whack for what I want to use. I actually like this dimension and this dimension, but I want to throw in a couple of diameter dimensions. So let's go to the dimension command, and I will do 3 alternating left mouse picks, starting either on the vertical center line or what I'm dimensioning to. Let me do left, 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 and then middle mouse button where I want the dimension to appear. Now I'm not going to change the value now just because I'm going to make some significant changes to the dimension values, and I don't want this screwing everything up. So that is good. Then let me go left, 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 and then middle mouse button where I want the dimension to appear. Change my dimensions. Let me put in the dimensions that I want. I want to control the length. Oh, actually, let me hit the enter key just to accept that default value. Let me left click this and then middle mouse button, hit the enter key to accept that value, and then left, left, and then middle mouse button and accept that value. Again, I had to make really big changes to these dimensional values. So I'm going to swipe a box over the different dimensions, then go to the modify command. Let me make this dialog box bigger. And I'm going to lock the scale for the first one that I am going to change. Let's see, this dimension, the 6 point whatever, I actually want this to be a value of 100, so let me type that in. And the rest of the sketch scales proportionately, so that is good. Now I can turn off the lock scale and change the rest of the stuff the way that I want it to. So let's see, this 95 value, that's way too big. I actually want this to be a value of 30. And let's see, what's this, 166? Yeah, I'll keep that one the same. And let's see, I want that dimension. All right, I'll keep the, let's change that to 70. And let's see the 37 value. This value is actually going to be a dimension of 25. So this is good for the sketch. Let me click the OK button. I'm going to move my dimensions around just because I like the dimensions to be organized in my sketch. And move this one up to the top. Okay, so I am happy with this for the sketch. And so now I can click on the green check mark to finish out of sketch mode. And so here we can see our little graphical preview. Beware if you zoom in. This window is actually kind of small. In here, you can always click on the eyeglasses icon to see a bigger preview of your sketch for your custom tool. Let me close out of there. Oh, let me change this name again. Let's call this taper 70. And let's go to the settings tab. And for the tool number, maybe I want this to be tool number 12 with offset 12. I'm not going to enter any of the gauge lengths. Let's hit the apply button. So here we have our new tool listed. You'll notice that it does not have the cutter diameter parameter value filled in. But it does have the tool offset. So in that way, I have created my own custom tool using the sketch option from the edit drop-down menu for configuring this rarely used kind of tool type.